Hello there, everyone. I think this is live. My name is Anthony Avina, and on behalf of On Request Magazine, I would like to welcome you to the very first episode of Edge of Sanity podcast. This podcast was originally just a part of my channel, my own personal podcast, but we are now combining with On Request Magazine to give you a whole news roundup show type of thing. What we'll do is we'll have news items, previews, reviews, and our thoughts and musings on the latest happening in the world of the entertainment industry. From music, television, movies, books, comic books, video games, and everything in between. We'll give you the latest that's going on and give you our thoughts and impressions on everything. Originally, like I said, this was part of my own personal podcast, but I thought it was about time that we combined the podcast with the magazine and give you everything that we have to offer. And before I get started, I would just like to thank our sponsor for this podcast. This sponsor is Audible. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/OnRequestMagazine. The O, R, and M in On Request Magazine are all capital. The link will be in the description of this video when it is done recording. With over 150,000 titles to choose from your iPhone, Android, and Kindle or MP3 player, Audible is definitely the choice for you. Make sure you guys click the link and sign up for your free trial today. Thank you to Audible for being our sponsor. Now, on to the main event, which is our news roundup. I will be on Twitter and Instagram checking out both of those for anyone who uses the hashtag Avina Vlogs. So that if you have any questions, comments, anything, and you can't leave them in the comment section for some reason, just send them to me on Twitter or Instagram. Both my Twitter and Instagram handle is GunslingerPimp. And anytime you use the hashtag AskAvinaVlogs, I'll see it and I'll be able to answer your question and I'll give you a shout out in the video and the podcast. So if you're watching this either live or recorded on YouTube, welcome. I hope you enjoy this podcast and make sure to leave your comments down below letting me know your thoughts on the podcast, any comments, concerns. And all I ask is that what I ask all my viewers on my personal channel, on my personal vlogs, is that you're respectful to not only the channel and the video, but to your fellow commenters, your fellow viewers. We want to keep this as respectful as possible. That's all I ask. If you are listening to this on the official On Request Magazine podcast, thank you for tuning in. Leave your comments either on the iTunes review section or on Podomatic, and let us know what you think of the new podcast. We will try and do this every week, bringing you the latest news, updates, and previews. And that is my spiel on the latest update to the podcast. Now that we have that all settled, I'm going to be reading some news items to you. News items, reviews, and previews. And I hope you guys all enjoy it. So without further delay, here is Edge of Sanity podcast with me, Anthony Avina. The first news items that we're going to talk about is going to be in the film industry. Two big film news that we always cover are the big superhero properties, DC and Marvel Comics, who arguably put out the biggest films in the industry today. First, we'll start with DC Comics, who is in the process of developing their very own cinematic universe, much in the same way that Marvel did years ago. The first film in the new cinematic universe was Man of Steel in 2013. And although many gave it mixed reviews, we personally thought it was one of the best and well-made superhero films of all time. Great emotional capacity, amazing character development, just an all-around fantastic film, a great plot, and one of the best films we've had the pleasure of watching. Um, in 2016, the sequel to Man of Steel will be coming out, titled Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Not much is known about the plot, but the film will star Henry Cavill as Superman again, and Amy Adams as Lois Lane, and Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White, and Diane Lane as Martha Kent. All from the first film are returning to the second film. The great additions for the second film, however, is Ben Affleck, who will be playing Batman, or Bruce Wayne, in the film, and Gal Gadot, who is going to be portraying Wonder Woman in the film, which is really cool. What we've seen so far is from the set, pictures, and whatnot is very promising, and we look forward to seeing what all the film brings. Yet to be seen in character is the addition of Jesse Eisenberg, who is going to be playing Lex Luthor. While his casting is very controversial, we are putting our faith in director Zack Snyder, who has had a great vision for the superhero properties thus far, and we are hoping that he is going to bring Jesse Eisenberg to a whole new level that we have yet to see. Rumored to be in the film is Khal Drogo himself from Game of Thrones, otherwise known as Jason Momoa. He has played Conan the Barbarian in the Conan remake. He's played Khal Drogo. He was on Stargate Atlantis years ago. And rumored for him is that he is going to be portraying Arthur Curry, otherwise known as Aquaman, King of Atlantis. He and Gal Gadot have both been spotted working out at the same rock climbing institute in Michigan where the film is currently being filmed. Although they were not photographed together working out, they were both at the same place. And it is rumored that they are both still getting into shape and working out for their roles in the film. Nothing has been confirmed yet about Jason Momoa or the character he'll be playing, but it is strongly believed by the community at large and inside sources that he'll be playing Aquaman. Let's see. Also, the film itself has been moved from May 6, 2016, where it used to be going up against Captain America 3 from Marvel. It has moved from May to March 25th, 2016, giving it the very first superhero film of the year, a top slot to have, and moving it away from Captain America 3 to try and ensure that it has a strong opening box office. Also announced this past week, about 8 to 10 films have been announced from DC Comics and Warner Brothers, with 2 films coming out each year from 2016 to 2020. It is believed that at least one of these films is a Justice League film. No official word on what each film is, although some names being thrown around are Wonder Woman, Batman, who are both going to be in the Batman v Superman movie, Shazam. For those of you who don't know, Shazam is the name of a character who used to be known as Captain Marvel. His human name was Billy Bastion, and his character is very much in the realm of the mystic arts, mystical type of stuff. With Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson previously being attached to star as Black Adam, who is the main antagonist of the film. No official word yet if this is still the case. This is all rumor, conjecture. There's also rumors of a Green Lantern and Flash team-up film, and possibly a second Justice League film. But for the only 2 films confirmed are Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice and Justice League. These are the only two confirmed films. What the other ones are is yet to be seen. But as soon as we find out, we will let you know. Second announcement, it comes from Marvel. At Comic-Con, it was announced before the film even opened that Guardians of the Galaxy would be getting a sequel, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which will be released on July 28th, 2017. Director James Gunn is currently at work on the script with Marvel and working on the plot details. The film had one of the strongest openings in August, setting a brand new record. I believe it opened with between 94 and 96 million domestically. It is definitely a top contender for Marvel, and shows just how strong Marvel's vision for their films is. Because, relatively speaking, Guardians of the Galaxy was a very small comic book property. Loyal Marvel fans knew who Guardians of the Galaxy were and all about their backstories, but the average comic book reader or just regular person who just enjoys the movies had no idea who Guardians of the Galaxy were, had no idea what they were about. But in just a matter of 2 weeks, it's become one of the most popular properties Marvel has right now, having one of the strongest opening weekends. Fans have fallen in love with each character from the film. The music was fantastic. We got the chance to see the film and it was amazing. Highly recommend going to see it. And after all this, not only is there a sequel in the works, but there's rumors going around that Marvel is also looking at other less known but popular properties. One of which is the Inhumans, with Vin Diesel himself, who voiced Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy, showing his interest in the film Inhumans and adding fuel to the fire by posting on his Facebook this mysterious post. I get the strange feeling Marvel thinks I'm inhuman. Vin Diesel, very well known for teasing his roles, talking openly about his interest in roles. Very, very cool indication that Marvel is looking at possibly having an Inhuman film. The Inhumans are this group of Inhumans, is what they're known as. I don't know much about it other than they have these almost godlike powers. They live on the far side of the moon, on Earth's moon. And I believe their DNA it was infused with DNA from the Kree Empire. If you don't know the film, the Kree Empire was a big force in the movie Guardians of the Galaxy. They have a whole empire, and the main antagonist of the film, Ronan the Accuser, was actually one of the Kree. He was kind of a Kree zealot who kind of did things on his own terms. So this would be very, very cool if this were to happen. That is our movie news for right now. I just want to say thank you for everyone who's watching right now. I appreciate it. If you have any comments, please feel free to leave them. Help spread the word about this podcast. There is no time limit to this podcast. I have some news items I'm going to be sharing with everyone. And, whether you watch it live now or recorded on my YouTube channel, which is an affiliation with On Request Magazine, or if you're listening to this on the podcast right now, feel free to leave your comments, your thoughts, your opinions on the podcast itself or the news items that we're talking about. So, there you go. All right. 1 second. Not a sponsor. Okay. Now on to television. Alright, first we're going to talk about our review of one of Fox's summer shows going on right now, gang related. Um, for those of you who may or may not know, like a month or two ago, our editor of our magazine, Christina Avina, got the chance to interview one of the stars of Gang Related, Cliff Curtis, who plays Javier Acosta on the show. Gang Related focuses on a cop named Ryan, who works for this gang task force in the LA area. But what his colleagues don't know is that he actually was raised by the head of this big gang called Los Angelicos, who is run by the Acosta family. Javier Acosta kind of raised him to be like a son and put him into the police force and the army to train him and to be his eyes and ears, so that they could stay out of trouble. A lot of stuff has gone on since the beginning of the film, or the show. Lots of action, lots of drama. Kind of reminds me of a more urban Departed. The Departed is a film by Martin Scorsese with Leonardo DiCaprio and Mark Wahlberg and Matt Damon, Jack Nicholson, Martin Sheen, a whole bunch of actors in the film. It was a fantastic film, and this show is a fantastic show. Very much the same tone of this guy torn between the family who raised him and the job that he believes in. Constantly putting his life and his freedom on the line to protect this family that he loves, although they are very heavily into some very bad illegal stuff. It's just a great, great drama. I don't want to give away spoilers about the show or anything. Nothing like that, but I just want to give you our impressions on the last episode. Gang Related was a fantastic episode. The final episode is this week. But the penultimate episode was definitely this past week. Some secrets were revealed about the main character, Ryan. And someone very close to the show, someone who was definitely a main character, met with an unfortunate and brutal end. And it really was a bold move for a brand new show, showcasing the reality of gang-related activity, that no one is safe, that the good guys are not always as good as they seem. The bad guys are not always clear-cut evil, but that the real-world ramifications of their actions have consequences. Even when you think you've won and beaten the bad guys, something comes back to bite you. And it was just a fantastically written and executed show. This past episode was amazing. The ending was shocking, and just very gruesome, very realistic. There's obviously some things they can't show on network television. It wasn't a Showtime show, it's on Fox. So they couldn't show exactly what would happen in the situation. But for a network show, it was, they kind of showcased the brutality nature of this horrific business. So very well done. Highly recommend watching it. If you have it on demand or Fox Network, check it out. The finale is this Thursday at 9 o'clock on Fox, so make sure you check it out. It's going to be a great finale, and we hope it gets picked up because it's a very well-made show. Now, we're going to talk about new and returning TV shows that we are anticipating. Once Upon a Time is one of the shows we're anticipating. It's going to be phenomenal. They're actually going to be showcasing a new storyline featuring characters from the movie Frozen. which is a very popular animated film last year, and one of Disney's most popular films in recent years. Um, there's not much is known about the exact storyline, other than the fact that Frozen characters are going to be in the show. Um, but from the set pictures and what we're hearing about the show, it seems like it's going to be phenomenal. The upcoming season is season 4, and Frozen is definitely going to be the first half of the season. Generally, they've been splitting up each season into 2 halves with different characters and storylines from different Disney films or fairy tales taking place. So we are looking forward to seeing the Frozen storyline play out, and we're looking forward to hearing the announcement of what is going to happen afterwards. So that show is on ABC and will be premiering September 28th, 2014, and we can't wait to see it. 2 other shows that we're looking forward to are 2 comedies that we love, The Mindy Project and New Girl. We are happy to announce some news bits about these. Mindy Project, which is going into its 3rd season, will have Rob McElhenney as Morgan's cousin. For those of you who have not seen the show, Morgan is one of the main characters on the Mindy Project, and Rob is actually the actor who portrays Mac on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's going to be a fantastic guest star, and really looking forward to seeing it. The season 3 is premiering in September, along with season 4 of New Girl. Now, New Girl, we just found out, is having another It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia cast member join its season 4 cast for just a couple episodes. Caitlin Olsen, who is actually Rob McElhenney's real-life wife, is going to be portraying Zooey Deschanel's arch rival from high school, who is now engaged to her father. It's going to be a very exciting season 4. She is going to be showing up in episode 3, I believe. And we're really excited for those Fox comedies. It's going to be great. And they're both premiering in September. Arrow, one of our highly anticipated shows. The CW has a ton of great shows coming out this year. Arrow is at the top of our list. A great season 3 coming up. A lot of DC heroes announced to be joining the show. Include Katana, who will be showing up in the new flashbacks, which will focus on Oliver Queen and his days in Shanghai, I believe. It's either Shanghai or Hong Kong, I'm not sure. But those are the new flashbacks. There are also going to be Brandon Routh, who is going to be portraying Ray Palmer on the show. For those of you who don't know DC Comics, Ray Palmer is actually the alias of the hero, the Atom. And I'm very interested to see how the Atom is going to be portrayed on Arrow, because now that they have introduced superpowers onto the show in a realistic manner, I'm very interested to see how the Atomics, and that's why he's the Atom. So I'm very interested to see how that goes, and there's going to be a budding romance between him and series regular Felicity, who's played by the lovely Emily Bett Records. Very interested to see how that plays out. The show also announced that the main antagonist of the season is going to be none other than Ra's al Ghul. For those of you who don't know, Ra's al Ghul is the one of the biggest antagonists of DC Comics. He is the head of this organization known as the League of Assassins. And in the comics, I'm not sure how they're portrayed on Arrow, but in the comics, he is 600 years old. He has this thing called the Lazarus Pit that he takes a bath in pretty much whenever he's getting to old age or he's mortally wounded, and it kind of brings him back to life, rejuvenates him. Um, he has had a long history of fighting Batman in the comics. His daughter, Talia al Ghul, actually has had an off-again, on-again relationship with Batman, producing a son at one point named Damian Wayne. So a lot of Batman influence with Ra's al Ghul, but I'm very interested to see his take on Arrow. Ra's al Ghul is one of the deadliest assassins in the comics. And the interesting thing about him as well is that he often clashed with Deathstroke, who was the main antagonist in Season 2 of Arrow. Very interested to see how all those dynamics play out on the show. Another character I believe they announced was Wildcat, who is a street-level hero, very much a vigilante who was a former boxing champ, who takes young heroes under his wing and trains them. Very, very cool stuff. And supposedly he's going to have a storyline with Katie Cassidy, who plays Laura Lance on the show. So looking forward to Season 3. It's going to be a very explosive opening season. And looking forward to it. Some new shows coming out. 1 second. Okay. American Horror Story Freak Show is coming out. This is the 4th season of the show. For those of you who don't know, American Horror Story is an anthology series, which means that every season is a brand new story with the actors portraying brand new characters. 2 of the actors that have been on every season, Jessica Lange and Sarah Paulson, are going to be returning. Not much is known about the pilot except that it takes place in the 50s in a Florida town, I believe, and takes place at a carnival. Sarah Paulson, I believe, is to be playing one of the attractions at the Freak Show, playing a 2-headed lady. Jessica Lange, I believe, is in charge of the carnival and is a German refugee, I believe. So, some interesting dynamics coming on. They announced definitely one of the new bad guy creepers on the show. Each season they have a character or just a horrific character that kind of serves as like the darkest part of the show. In the first season, it was the leather strap man, who was just this big guy in leather who kind of roamed the house. In Season 2, it was Bloodyface. Season 3 was the Minotaur. Season 4 is going to have a killer clown, which is probably going to be the scariest one yet, because for a lot of people, clowns are just scary by nature, but when you have a killer clown, that's even worse. So we have that to look forward to in October. Michael Chiklis is actually going to be starring in the show too this year, and I'm really excited about that, along with Jessica Lange, Sarah Paulson, Kathy Bates, and more. So, also, this fall on Fox, premiering in September, is the new DC comic show Gotham, which I'm really excited about. Gotham is a show that takes place in the years before Bruce Wayne became Batman. The show starts off with the murder of Bruce Wayne's parents and follows a very young Jim Gordon as he becomes a homicide detective and begins investigating all the crime going on in Gotham. Gotham is very much run by organized crime in this show. Jada Pinkett Smith is going to be playing a mob boss known as Fish Mooney. And the show is going to be introducing a lot of Batman's villains, his rogues gallery, if you will, before they were the villains. So the Penguin, the Riddler, Poison Ivy, A whole bunch of characters are going to be introduced before they knew Batman. He's also going to follow Bruce Wayne in the aftermath of his parents' murder, and kind of we'll be able to see a little bit of his evolution over the years as a child to the years that he becomes Batman. What I'm really interested in, though, is seeing Ben McKenzie, who is going to be playing Jim Gordon on the show. It's really going to be great to see Jim Gordon, who we've only seen as Commissioner Gordon over the years, when he was a young detective, and seeing his evolution from a young, battle-hardened detective into, the Commissioner that we all know and love from the original show and comic books. So that's going to be on Fox this September. On NBC, DC is going to have Constantine premiere. Constantine is one of DC's most highly regarded supernatural properties. The character John Constantine is a master of the dark arts. He is very much in tune with the mystic and supernatural realm of DC Comics. And he's also a con man. The show is going to be filled with dark humor, wit, and lots and lots of demons and angels. Very much looking forward to it. It's going to be great, and I think it's going to be a great pairing on Friday nights with Grimm, and then Hannibal eventually. And then finally, the CW has two other DC Comics properties coming to it. One is The Flash, which is going to be set in the same universe as Arrow. The Flash is going to follow Barry Allen as he gains his newfound superhuman abilities, which allows him to travel at impossible speeds, sometimes even breaking the sound barrier and the time stream barrier, and introducing his Rogues Gallery, which is definitely one of the most interesting Rogues Galleries in all of DC Comics. His Rogues Gallery includes someone named Captain Cold, and his main bad guy in the comics that most people know is Gorilla Grodd, which I'm not sure how they're going to introduce on the show, considering Gorilla Grodd is like one of the most intelligent villains in the whole DC universe, but he's also just a giant gorilla. So I'm not sure if they'll introduce him on the show at any point, especially since it's in the same universe as Arrow. Also, DC has another property that's kind of offset from the comics aspect, called iZombie, which I'm really interested to see how that's going to go. iZombie follows a young medical student who works in the morgue after she's been resurrected pretty much and is a zombie, but she's a zombie that can pass for human, and she manages to stay herself by feeding on the brains of bodies in the morgue. But upon eating the brains, she gains their memories and stuff and has to solve their murders. So, very, very interesting shows coming out. DC is definitely taking the win in television. Marvel has Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter coming to ABC this year, and then has 4 Netflix shows in the works. But right now, DC is definitely in the win. And if any of those shows manage to get picked up for a full season or a second season, then they will definitely be on top. That is our television news. We are closing in on the halfway mark of our show. Let's see. All right. 1 second. Like I said, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section, or to hit me up on Twitter or Instagram with the hashtag AskAvinaVlogs or AvinaVlogs, and we'll be happy to answer your questions, your comments, your concerns, anything about the podcast or our news items. Um, let's do video games real quick. Couple of things I want to talk about. One is a news item that I just read today. Brand new game, Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is a sequel to one of the best video games of the last couple of years, Tomb Raider, which was kind of a reboot of the Tomb Raider series. Is going to be exclusively on Xbox One when it comes out later this year. Not much is known about the plot, but the graphics look amazing, and it's going to be a great follow-up to a very well done and well-made video game. Something else we'll talk about is something we're going to try and do every week, and that is what is On Request Magazine playing. What that means is I'm going to talk about the games I'm currently playing, whether they're new releases or old ones. It doesn't matter. We're going to talk about what we're playing. Right now, I just got done playing a game called Family Guy Back to the Multiverse. It is based on the highly loved and beloved TV show Family Guy, and follows Stewie Griffin and Brian Griffin as they travel through multiple universes trying to stop their arch nemesis Bertram as he seeks to destroy their world. The game, although the graphics are very much rudimentary, very old school, it doesn't matter. It would have mattered if it was any other game probably, but the graphics aren't as big a deal in this game because the story, the characters, the jokes, and the action is just too fun. It's not, Grand Theft Auto level amazing. It's not, game of the year, but it's a fun game. It's something I highly recommend. The plot is very easy to follow. It goes by fast, and it's a lot of fun, and there are a lot of great nods and lines from the actual show in the game. So highly recommend playing that. Right now, I just started playing Minecraft, which I've never played before. Wow. Minecraft is a sandbox game, which means that it's a very open world where you create everything. You are put into this world and you pretty much mine. You mine for items and you create items. You create buildings and outposts and stuff to during the day, so that at night these bloodthirsty creatures can't attack you. I'm very much new to Minecraft, so I don't know much about it. I literally just started playing it yesterday. But it's probably one of the biggest games that people have been playing for years. And I got the Xbox 360 version, so next week I'll be able to give you my full review of it. Now on to books. Books and comic books. First is my review of Stephen King's latest novel, Mr. Mercedes, which I just finished. I don't usually get hardback books because they're very heavy and hard to handle. But I was really looking forward to this book, and I had to read it, and I did. I'm not going to give spoilers away about the plot, other than just to talk about the basic plot line. The book follows this detective called Bill Hodges, who is retired. His last case was unsolved. It's a very gruesome case of this person, unknown at the time, who simply goes by the phrase Mr. Mercedes, or the Mercedes Killer. This person used a Mercedes to run over a whole crowd of people at a job fair who were out waiting in line to find jobs to earn money. The person killed 11 people, and very, very gruesome, and it haunts this guy, this detective. The detective one day gets a letter from the killer, who is taunting him, pretty much telling him to kill himself. But the letter actually has the opposite effect on the cop, and he decides that even if it means risking jail time, he's going to start investigating the crime again. and going back over the case and to find the killer. Meanwhile, the killer, we get both perspectives. We get the cop's perspective and the killer's perspective. We get an inside look at who this killer is, what made him into this evil person, and we see his destructive nature. And we see just how ordinary he looks on the outside, not just looks-wise, but he seems like this ordinary person. He's hiding in plain sight pretty much, and no one suspects that he's actually planning another horrific event that's going to kill even more people, hundreds, maybe even thousands of people. And it's all about the investigation into this killer and closing in on him. So it was a very well written book. Stephen King is still a master of horror and suspense. It's a very, very definitely worth getting the hardback. Even if you're more into paperback, I highly recommend getting it. Also, would recommend using audible.com if you want to listen to it instead of reading it. I have to apologize for the pillow back there. Sammy is my little dog, and he is rolling around on the bed right now, and he's pushing my pillow up. Sorry about that. Anyways, Mr. Mercedes, we give a 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely a must-read book, and definitely one of the top contenders for books of the year for Honor Quest magazine. Definitely a great book. A little bit of news items for comic books. DC Comics announced today a brand new comic book series set in the world of Batman, but not starring Batman. This series is going to be called Gotham by Midnight, and it's going to focus on the book is going to focus on a X-Files type of task force living in Gotham City. The task force is going to be called the Midnight Shift, and the leader of this task force is Gotham detective Jim Corrigan. Those of you who don't know who Jim Corrigan is, he is the human vessel for a hero, anti-hero, hero, vigilante type known as the Spectre. The Spectre kind of is this Old Testament spirit who inhabits a person and passes judgment on anyone who does anything wrong. And his judgment usually comes with a death sentence or worse. So Jim Corrigan has no say in the matter. He's just possessed, and he uses this task force to try and stop these evil supernatural beings or save people before the Spectre kind of pops out and takes over and passes his own judgment. So it's going to really investigate the supernatural and horror-based crimes in Gotham, and it's very, very, very cool storyline coming up. It's going to be by writer Ray Fox, who was responsible for the popular Justice League Dark series, and it's going to be drawn by artist Ben Tipplesmith, who's responsible for books like 30 Days of Night and Wormwood, very popular books. The artwork looks amazing, very, very cool, and I'm looking forward to it because you don't get to explore that aspect of Gotham City very much in the comics. So very, very cool. All right. Now on to our top picks of the week for film. On August 13th, 2014, our top pick of the week is going to be from Let's Be Cops. The film is going to star Jake Johnson and Damon Wayans Jr. as two guys who decide to dress up as cops, and upon wearing their costumes, get a bunch of respect and get to do a whole bunch of things that they never did as themselves. And so they take it upon themselves to start going around acting like cops. And it gets them into a whole bunch of mess, a whole bunch of problems, and a whole lot of chaos ensues. The film also stars Nina Dobrev from The Vampire Diaries. She's going to be playing a coffee shop waitress, I believe, who Damon Wayans Jr. is kind of fallen and smitten with. And she's going to be there along for the ride as the guys get into trouble. This film looks hilarious. We are going to be going to see it on opening day, and we will be able to give you our impressions of the film once we've seen it. That is our pick of the week. So August 13th, 2014. If you're going to see one film this week, we highly recommend that it's Let's Be Cops in theaters tomorrow. Make sure you guys go see that this week, and it's going to be amazing. Two more news items, and then we'll end the show. YouTube news now. Since our show is, the video for our show is on YouTube, we thought we'd do a YouTube news item and a YouTube spotlight. So, two news items from YouTube. Internet personality Grace Helbig was announced this week to be writing a pilot for a brand new talk show type of pilot for E! Network. Grace Helbig is known as Daily Grace for many years. This past year, in January 2014, she left the network she was a part of, My Damn Channel, and stopped being Daily Grace and just became Grace Helbig. She started her own YouTube channel, and in a matter of a week or 2 weeks, already garnered 1 million subscribers, which is pretty amazing for a single YouTube channel. She is hilarious, a great comedian, wonderful actress, very good with improvisation, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of pilot that she comes up with, especially with a little bit more freedom on E! Network, and with Chelsea Lately having recently announced that she's leaving her talk show on E! There's definitely a gap to be filled on E! Network for talk shows. And Grace Helbig has the right personality and humor that would fill that void perfectly. So very much looking forward to that, and would be a great success for her and for the YouTube community to show that there is some great talent out there on the internet. Also, just want to congratulate 2 YouTubers this week who won Choice Male and Female Web Star at the Teen Choice Awards. Tyler Oakley and Bethany Moda. They won Choice Male and Female Web Star at the Teen Choice Awards, and it's a great win for them and the internet because it really showcases the popularity and the talent that goes behind these YouTube videos. Some great talent, talented people, talented writers, talented everyone who works on these YouTube videos. Tyler Oakley and Bethany Moda, definitely very popular YouTubers, and they deserve the win. They earned it. That's the great thing about their win, is that they actually earned it. They weren't, coached. They weren't paraded. They themselves worked to get that award, and that's very, very cool indeed. So, finally, our YouTube spotlight. This week we are going to spotlight an actual show on YouTube. It's called Hey USA, hashtag Hey USA. The show stars friends Mamrie Hart and Grace Helbig. What the show does, it takes these 2 friends who are hilarious comedians and garner quite a bit of views. Quite a bit of fans follow them. They actually went across America to different cities that their fans recommended to them, and the camera crew followed them around to these cities and the different attractions and stuff that these cities had, from Arizona and New York to Provincetown, whole bunch of different places, New Orleans, and yes, I know Arizona and New York are not cities. I was just talking about states that they're visiting. The show is hilarious. The thing I love about it is that it's very much improvised. There's not a lot of script play that's evident in the show. It really showcases the different aspects of America, and Very, very funny indeed. Um, this definitely worth watching. The YouTube channel that it's on is called Astronauts Wanted, and the show is #HeyUSA. I believe they are currently filming the last episode or two. So I highly recommend going to watch the Hey USA on Astronauts Wanted and leave comments letting them know, that Honor Quest magazine sent you and that they are hilarious and how much you love them. Definitely worth watching, and I hope that we see more of that in the future. Hey USA is our YouTube Spotlight of the Week. Alright guys, that is the end of our show. We're about 50 minutes into this podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you guys have thoughts, comments, opinions on any of the news items that I read about, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section of this video or on the podcast on iTunes or Podomatic for the magazine. All the links that you're going to need are going to be in the description below if you want to see that. I want to thank Audible again for sponsoring this podcast. It's great to have a sponsor. And if you guys want to read a book or listen to a book, audible.com, audibletrial.com/OnQuest magazine is the way to go. My choice would be Mr. Mercedes by Stephen King. Great book, and highly recommend it. This is not going to be a regular thing that we do at the end of our show, but this is something that we, is very much prominent in our news right now. Most people already know this, but legendary comedian and actor Robin Williams passed away yesterday. We're not going to talk about the circumstances around his death. That is all in the news and is easy to find. We just want to give our condolences to his family and his friends who are going through a tough time right now. Losing him, he was a fantastic comedian, hilarious. He brought a lot of love and joy, laughs and tears to everyone. The world lost a great artist and a great human being with his passing. And most of all, I just want to give our love and support to the man himself, Robin Williams. Although you were going through a tough time, just know that you have a lot of supporters, a lot of fans, and a lot of people who loved you. You will never be forgotten, and you will always be missed. And we just feel for you and your family. You brought so much love and joy to, not just America, but the world. Your work with Comic Relief was above and beyond. And we're sorry to hear about your passing. Robin Williams is definitely going to be missed. The whole community at large feels his loss. Amazing to see that even our president, President Obama, actually wrote a very heartfelt message about Robin Williams passing, which is very rarely seen because we've lost quite a few celebrities over the years. Some great people, great celebrities, great human beings as a general rule. But very rarely do we see the president speak out about a loss like that. And it really just shows how not just popular, but how loved Robin Williams was. So on behalf of Honor Quest magazine and myself as a person, I just want to say we love you, Robin Williams. We hope you found the peace that you were looking for, and our condolences to you and your family. We all love you and we'll miss you. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. From all of us here on Honor Quest magazine, I want to thank you for watching this podcast, and we will see you next week for episode 2 of the Edge of Sanity podcast. Thank you for watching, and good day.